Episode of Logical Upgradation. In this episode of Logical Upgradation, I will be talking about our External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and his role. As I have discussed in the last video about the 2+2 meet in the Washington DC. In that 2+2 meet, our External Affairs Minister has become a center point of debate and discussion in media circles and political commentator. What exactly he has done to gain lot of fame and attention, completely overshadowing and eclipsing his colleague Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. So, Cabinet Minister S. Jaishankar is been appointed on the very key role and position of External Affairs Ministry. The Ministry of External Affairs is an integral and important part of CCS. What is this CCS is about? CCS stands for Cabinet Committee on Security. So this is the highest body of Government of India which makes key decisions on important issues such as nuclear policy, defense policy, security policy, current policy, and like many others, which has a potential to impact our country on immediate and long-term basis. So External Affairs Ministry is a key and integral part of CCS, that is Cabinet Committee on Security. Which are the other members or other ministry of CCS? That includes Ministry of Home Affairs, Defence Ministry, Finance Ministry and Foreign Ministry, and these all ministries headed by our Prime Minister. So let us get ahead with the comments and remarks made by our External Affairs Minister during this visit. India was having a lot of pressure on the verge of Russia-Ukraine war and issue. So on this aspect, India has made a travel and visit to the 2+2 meet which is taking place on annual and yearly basis. I would like to exactly read out the quote-unquote statement by our finance minister, by our External Affairs Minister during his visit. Unfazed and unbowed to the America's pressure, America's lobby over our relationship with Russia, over human rights and over sanctions. So these all clouds were looming on India-America visit, India-US 2+2 meet. In spite of it, unmoved, our foreign minister has made such statements which we have not seen such an assertive diplomacy in recent times. Probably we have not witnessed such an assertive diplomacy by India, and that too on a foreign visit. So India has said that no more lecture from West and America. So our Defence Ministry has said a particular remarks, very strong remarks, while maintaining and saying that our relationship with the US are such strong that we are ready to accommodate the differences. The ties between New Delhi and Washington, they are mature enough to give space to each other on differences on various subject matters. So in a blunt remark and statement to the US mensing of threat to India on sanctions. So America has basically passed one legislation that is called CAATSA, C-A-A-T-S-A, which stands for Countering America's Adversary Through Sanctions Act. Basically this is a federal law passed by the United Nations by its Senate. It is one house of the Parliament. For Parliament, American calls as Congress. So Congress constitutes two houses. One is House of Representative, that is lower house, Lok Sabha of US, and Senate, that is Rajya Sabha, upper house of the Senate. So the upper house of the US Congress has passed this legislation, that is Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act in the year 2017. If my knowledge serves me right, probably in the month of June 2017, and this legislation passed 19 versus 2. So overwhelming thumping majority, America passed this legislation, and through this legislation, America declared that it has three primary adversaries. That includes Iran, North Korea and Russia. So whichever country tries to engage in any kind of trade, business or defense purchases and all, America will impose sanction on that country also. So in a way, it is an American philosophy that friend of my enemy is also my enemy. So India had pressure over this issue. When asked and countered by media persons to our external affairs minister that won't you take risk by trading with the Russia to purchase defense system like S-400 and purchasing discounted oil from Russia. To this question, our external affairs minister said that, see, basically CAATSA, and I quote, that it is their legislation, it is America's legislation, and whatever has to be done by themselves. So in a way, if I supposed to say in Marathi, काय करायचे ते त्यांनी ठरवू दे. So it is in a way basically saying that we are not bothered or afraid of your sanctions, because we will do whatever it takes to safeguard and secure our sovereignty. So without worrying the sanction of America. Moving further on the next issue, which is very contentious, which is very sparked a very controversy around the media circles and political pundits, on human rights issue. On this issue also, when asked and countered by Americans and media persons that US is very worried about the human rights situation in India. To this, earlier India used to listen very passively, but this time India has pushed back Washington very hard by saying that we are also equally worried and concerned about human rights situation in the US. So it's a very blunt remark ever made by any foreign minister on a visit to the US. So by these two remarks and statement by our foreign minister, despite being in Washington, it is a very assertive diplomacy played out by India, maintaining, and he underlined that the ties between New Delhi and Washington, they are mature enough to give space to each other on different issues. So in this episode, I covered the role of our foreign minister S. Jaishankar, how he has handled. Prior to this visit, many political commentators were of the opinion that India also is on back foot. They are afraid that how India is going to deal with this visit and summit 2+2 meet. But India has emerged, it's my opinion, you may differ, India has emerged victorious in this meeting. So American media circles and American policy makers, they are amazed to see this avatar of our Indian foreign policy. In next video, as I stated in my last video, I will cover G7 meeting. So in this video, this is it for the day. Thank you, viewers. Thank you.